So from that day onwards, I was about 8 years old. It was my first time setting off into Joburg in new land that I've never seen before. And I was just absolutely fascinated by all the buttons inside that cockpit, that flight deck, and those pilots looked like absolute heroes. So from there, I was just like, I have to do this. I have to get into it.
So from 8?
From 8, yeah, from 8.
From 8 you knew you're going to become a pilot?
From 8, but I'd say during high school is where the problem came. It was where, reality comes to like set in and kind of like knock you down. So during high school, people were telling me, you shouldn't probably do this. It's too much money. You're not going to be able to afford it.
We don't like those people.
To an extent, they are right. But you've got to, take up initiative in your life and try and pave your own path. So I went to a career guidance counselor in grade 12, and we did a whole personality test. I told her what I wanted to do, and she was like, it's probably best not for you not to do this. Go do something else. Go apply for university. So I did that. I wrote my exams, and like during high school, I just felt like this will to like live just like started to suck out of me. And as it did, like it just came in every part of my life. It started to go down in my sports, in my academics, and everything.
And what was it?
It just felt like you're killing like that 8-year-old self feel that like everyone just wants to be like follow their 8-year-old self's dreams, and like when you like move away from that, you just feel like
because you now have the friends, you've got the guidance teacher, you've got a lot of people telling you that this dream is insurmountable of becoming this pilot, flying, and so did that almost become your reality? You almost started believing that?
I genuinely believed it at one point, and as soon as I finished matric exams, I got that first offer for university. I saw it, I was like, I have 2 days to accept it, and I was just like, no. I looked into the future, I was like, I'm gonna hate my life more than I hate it now. So I immediately was
how old were you then?
I was just about turning 19.
Okay, so you were 19.
Yeah, I just got out of high school, fresh out of high school. I was like, no, this can't be the way I want to go with my life. So I decided I'm rather gonna do something now, and I don't think I'm ever gonna regret doing this. And if all else fails, I'll just go back. You can always go back.
There's that kind of there's a potential plan B if plan A doesn't work.
Exactly. But to go in on becoming a pilot, it's burn all the boats. Got to cut it. No plan B. So as soon as I decided university is not for me, I immediately started to going for researching and seeing what a flight school is, what are the requirements to get into flight school. And there's so much information on the internet. Like, it's not a lack of information, it's just so much information, and then it's problem.
Overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
And it's very difficult to figure out, if you don't know, what information path you should follow.
Exactly. There's so many ways and paths out there. So essentially, I started eventually about 2 months later after getting all this information. And I'd say I made some very good decisions with how I chose my training, but I also made some very bad decisions as well.
Because I think for a pilot, you need 100+ hours of flight time, right? Plus the theoretical stuff and all the other stuff.
Do you want me to go into the whole explanation? Or can I give a general overview? So essentially, there are about 3 licenses you need to get to become, let's say, an airline pilot. So the airline pilot, the golden standard is 1,500 hours. But before you can get there, working backwards, the first license you go after is the private pilot's license, and that just basically allows you to fly by yourself in the air. It covers all the basics.
And what category of plane is that? Is that like a Cessna entry level?
Yeah, that's more like the basic, the Cessna 172s, the Piper Cherokees, your Sling 2s, very light sport aircraft, but it's more about what planes you're rated on. There's different classes. You could probably start your training on a multi-engine. It'll be a lot more difficult, but generally start out in a single engine. And then from the private pilot's license, we head to what we like to call like an undergrad degree, basically, which is the commercial pilot's license. This allows you to fly for compensation, but necessarily you can't fly for what we say airlines and most big private jet companies because of there's like insurance requirements that go into flying those planes as well, and they want people with a lot of experience. So typically you get your commercial pilot's license at about 200 hours. That's the one I'm currently going after now. I've done my private pilot's license, so I can fly by myself. I know all the basics and fundamentals, and now I'm going after the commercial pilot's license, and then after that my instructor's rating, so I can build my hours to get to that 1,500 hours airline transport license.
So on this journey at the moment, right, you're on your way to a commercial pilot's license. You've got the private pilot license that you have.
Yes.
How far are you on the journey at the moment?
So I'd say in between PPL, so private pilot's license and commercial pilot's license, I'm like dead set in the middle now. I finished the theory examinations for the commercial pilot's license. There's about 8 exams that I've written, and it's just touches on all the parts of aviation. We've got aircraft technical in general. We've got meteorology, which is weather.
I mean, I don't want to belie the accomplishment.
Yeah.
But you're a young man, right? How old are you?
I'm about 22.
You're 22.
Yeah.
Just in your words, because I think some of us are old fuddy-duddies, we don't get it. What does it mean to be able to actually follow your dream? Like, I mean, you've made the decision, I'm not going to university. This is what I'm going to. You've had to overcome challenges, people telling you can't do it. But now you've got the private license, you're on your way to commercial. What is that? Just tell me, what does that feel like? What do you feel like when you wake up in the morning?
Genuinely scared. it's scary.
That's interesting.
It's so uncertain, there's so much uncertainty about going forward. One day there's light at the tunnel, but every day you're trying to take one step, just at least one step closer. And there are days where you make good progress, and there's just like some days where you just don't. And it's just trying to stack those good days, really. That comes to having a dream. But I really get sucked up really into thinking, one day, I think we all get caught in this, which is the one day I'll be happy and this is where I'm going to be. I'm in the right seat now in the jet. But what I've really been trying to do now is be more present in the moment, and because everyone says it's cliche, it's right. It's the journey, not the destination. So I've really been trying to enjoy the journey more.
Okay. But the journey has been interesting too, because you've had to obviously you did all the research, as you alluded to a little bit earlier. Yeah. You now have access to this information, but you've got a challenge like many South Africans, many young people. How do I pursue my dream? Yeah. Because unless you've got rich parents who don't mind paying for hours and hours, because it's quite expensive.
It is
very expensive path to take. You then have to come up with unique ways to get that funding, to raise the funds, and one of it is you start a business.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So starting out, I was after I finished private pilot's license, to get my private pilot's license, I worked 2 jobs relentlessly. So I worked as a pizza delivery boy at night and during the day.
How many times did you want to open up the box and take a slice?
I think after the first couple of weeks I got sick and tired of pizza.
So the pizza delivery.
So that was what I did at night, and then during the day I worked part-time selling glassware to festivals for a B2B company and hotels. And fortunately my dad helped me with...
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, you're saying your dad.
It taught me so much. So selling I could go on about for a while, but in terms of my dad helped me with the part of my PPL, and so we basically shared the load of the PPL to get it done. It was about 120k for the PPL, but then came the commercial pilot's license, because I told him we'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. Let's just get the first thing out the way. So I got to it, we look at how much it's going to cost, and it's triple the cost and triple the challenge, and I'm like, bro, I need to find ways of making money, because this is not going to cut it. This is not going to meet the timeline of expiry dates of when I need to get this done.
Yeah.
So I started
there's a deadline looming.
Exactly.
In terms of how you need to acquire the hours in order to become a commercial pilot.
Especially with the exams, and the exams lapse after a certain amount of time.
And then you've got to start all over.
And then you've got to start all over again. So
that's expensive.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. So I started looking. So I went from looking at selling at sales for marketing agencies. I started, I had a background growing up. I used to work in church and audiovisual, so I did a bit of camera operating for corporate events. From there, I got into events also as well for ushering and airport transfers and stuff like that to start paying for it, but it still wasn't moving the needle enough. So I sat down there and I was looking online. I was like, business kept coming up as a big thing because I was already quite big into self-development and like trying to be more disciplined and growth. And I found that self-development is more of like it's like a gateway drug into business, as you per se. Yeah. So going into,
I like that, it's a gateway drug into business.
Self-development. Yeah. So the business came about was just use with what I have, and what I have right now is knowledge that people don't have, and it all comes not theory. It's just my lived experience. So I've estimated I've probably made mistakes like, there's so many mistakes you can make, like picking the wrong flight school, sticking around with the wrong flight instructor for too long, or you're just not sure how to structure your training. And in that way, I've made mistakes that have cost me now. I've estimated to be about 30,000 rand.
Yeah.
And I know people who've wasted a lot more than that. Yeah. And so now the business came about basically of this information.
Your pain point into an opportunity.
Something
you've experienced that you could save other young people and their families from wasting their money. Exactly. You turned it into a business called High Agency.
Exactly. So High Agency is derived from a character trait I'm always striving to be. I found out about this personality trait like 2 years ago in 2023 when I was listening to a podcast. They talked about this term called High Agency, and I was like, what is that? Because the only way I've heard of agency is like as a business.
Yeah.
So I googled it and I found that agency is the ability to act out your will. So
I love that, the ability to act out your will.
The capacity to act out your will.
I love that. That sounds great. Yeah.
So high agency is basically the sense that the story that people give you about what you can or cannot do is just that, a story, and you have the ability to rewrite that story.
And you, for a fair amount of time, there's some kind of divineness to it because you've experienced people telling you can't do things.
Exactly.
And you will never achieve that.
So it spoke so much to me. So I was like, I have to take this as the name of the business because this is exactly what I'm trying to embody and grow to. Because I'm a big believer that we don't really achieve goals. We achieve identity. We achieve character. Because goals don't achieve people. People achieve goals. So I'm just focusing on trying to become the kind of person that can reach these goals one day.
I love that. Your parents must be so proud. Now, High Agency exists. You are now currently getting and saving families from making mistakes, costly mistakes.
Yes.
Okay. So, and one of the projects or programs that you run within High Agency is Aviator Navigator.
Yes. So, Aviator Navigator is basically for, I'm saying young adults and high school students, but I have been getting a lot of interest from people above that age limit, and it's mostly targeted to give you the information that you need. I act as a filter basically of what you need to do. I cater to your needs, to your budget, where your location is. I help you choose. Basically the 4 parts is a roadmap. It gives you a clear from where you are, where you're going to, and how that's going to suit your needs. Then from there, it's
similar to a guidance coach.
It's guidance like a coach. It's basically like the career guidance counselor, but more for aviation.
Yeah.
And then from there, helping you pick the best flight school that for those goals. And then from there, helping you with the medical. Let's say you have a medical history. We'll see if it'll disqualify you or not. And then let's get you set up with the best medical examiner near you so you can get the right medical certificate for you. And then after that, it's just helping them with those strategies on how to not waste money. So I'm not exactly a financial advisor, but I do have a few tricks of the trade.
No, well, you're specifically focused around aviation and making sure that you find the right flight school. You don't get trapped by these fly-by-nights who don't have the proper qualifications,
Yeah. So
I love that.
Initially in my stage of I visited so many flight schools when I started out, and one thing I'll tell you is a flight school, first before anything else, it's a business. It's trying to make profit. So they will tell you everything they need to get you into the door. So even if there's some things that just don't align with you at all and you find out later down the road. So I'm just trying to stop people from making mistakes like that. And then additional modules on that is just making sure during their training, what's the best way to pay for training? How do you pass your exams? What's the best strategy to write your exams? Studying from best resources like that.
I love it. It's called High Agency. And Joel, how can they get hold of you?
So the best way to get in contact with me is you can get me on my website, www.highagency.site, or you can follow me on Instagram at JoelDVIS. JoeLDVIS.
Yeah, and you're also on LinkedIn as well.
I'm on LinkedIn as well. I just recently got into LinkedIn. Joel Davis.
That is amazing. Joel, what a great story. This is the kind of stories we love spotlighting. This is a young man. Let's support this business. It's a proudly South African business. Let's build it, and let's get this young man to his commercial pilot's license. And who knows, maybe you'll all owe us one.
Maybe. Maybe.
Not possible. Just support the businessman. Do what you need to do. It's a private South African business. It's Joel Davis. The organization is called High Agency. You've got a young one. You've got a family who's into aviation. Maybe it's a dream, dad, son, or dad, daughter, mom, whoever it may be, uncle, aunt, whatever. Go and find out. Joel is doing such an amazing service. He's going to save you a ton of money, and I agree with him. There's just so much information at the moment online. It's very difficult to navigate your way through this, and here you've got somebody who's made a mistake. He's got the pain points, and he's able to just kind of make things feel a little bit easy. So final question: by when will you have your commercial pilot's license so we can bring you back and celebrate with you?
If all goes well, hopefully we can. I'll see you by the start of 2027.
Love it.
Yeah.
919 FM, your morning of